But the best line I heard all weekend, and I used this line in Landon on our show yesterday, and that was I had a couple of people text me and said that they misread the email that Coach Franklin sent out. And they bought blackout energy instead of whiteout energy.
Blackout energy.
There was a couple of them who went through it. And not the 94 guys. We were all well-behaved. We all had eyes on each other just to make sure, like, hey, you can't be stumbling around out there. You know?
I was not well-behaved. I had a great time. I had a wonderful time.
It was a really good weekend. I will say that. But I do want to ask you, going out on the field, getting honored in between the first and second quarter, getting to be out there, and there's a whiteout too. So I mean, even an even brighter, cooler environment. What was that like to be out there with the boys again?
I haven't been out. I don't go out the field normally. I like to stay in the parking lot and watch the game on television. I got a nice 60-inch high def TV, which is great. I have a nice fat boy chair and all that stuff. So don't really like to go on the field because there's not a place for us to sit. And I had my back fused together 10 years ago, so I don't got much standing walking power. So I do got to say that we got out to the field, did the whole first quarter thing, and it was great seeing everybody. But, I mean, the stadium, the upgrades they've made to the stadium, the lighting, it's just unbelievable. And then just the sheer amount of people on the sideline running the whole event, it's like, wow, man, it's a whole different world than even five, maybe, even one from when I was playing for sure. But, like, that whole night, everybody who had headsets on, they're worried about the cheerleaders, the former Lions, the homecoming court, the alumni band, and then they throw in the 94 team and all. I think the university did a good job pushing it all together. There are people who were complaining that we weren't introduced individually and stuff like that. I'm not one of them. You know me. I'm just sit me in a corner, give me a case of beer, and I'll shut up and wave my hand. I'll be fine. But they're guys, and I talked to my wife about it, and I made a comment, and I said, you know what? But there are guys who came in from a long distance away, and I don't have children. You guys don't have children, so we don't get it. But like some guys, it's like important to them to like, hey, like that's your dad out in the field. You didn't, it's not a normal thing when you see, you can see your father on the sideline. They call his name out, the place cheers. That's where I think some guys were a little, and some fans, a lot of fans were a little upset by all of that. But again, it doesn't matter to me. But we're also easygoing as hell,
No doubt about it.
I do got to say, I got to tell you one story. I walked farther this weekend than I have in like 10 years.
Okay.
So I walked onto the field from my tailgate area, got on the field, and they walked us to the field. And then I have to walk out, and I have my friend invited a couple of us into one of the suites.
Okay.
You don't get from the suite, from the sidelines to the suite very easily at Beaver Stadium. So I walk around. I made the wrong turn. I went the whole way around the wrong way. So I'm out pretty much on Park Avenue, that side.
Okay.
And and I'm already dying. I'm like, oh, jeez, wow. And somebody said, oh, yeah, he's on the third floor. And I was like, I don't know about that. They're like, yeah, trust me. And so I was like, all right. So I have to leave the stadium, get out of the stadium, go out, and then come back in to the suites entrance. So I get in the suites entrance, and I go to the third floor, and I walk the whole length of the field. He's not there. So I go down one flight of stairs. I go the whole length of the field down to another suite. And then I come down the elevator again and down the steps, and then he's the second to last one down here. So I literally walked. I walked the whole field 3 times amongst the stadium. So
I can attest to this. Me and Big, we watched some NFL Red Zone yesterday. He didn't get up once.
Nope.
You did not get up from your seat, not one time. Nope. So clearly he was resting the knees, all of it. I
got up a couple of times and I buckled. I mean, I don't know what I did. Jeez, it was barking, man.
You would be surprised. As many Penn State football players that have been there, there's just not a big portion of them who actually know their way around Beaver Stadium. Because your path when you're there as a player,
it's easy.
Is literally walk in the tunnel, go in the locker room, go on the field. Yep. And I could not tell you where anything important is in Beaver Stadium aside from those things.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was walking around, I was like, ooh.
This is nice.
Added a couple new TVs.
I was like, well, that's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah.
Walking by the food, I was like, oh, that looks good. Holy crap. All right.
Landon, what do you think?
What's the weirdest thing? I'm sorry, I have to jump.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. See people walking around with beers.
Yeah.
I know that's new 2 years, but I was like, I just walked by it. I'm like, banging beers back. So
this is a little bit off topic here, but it happened this weekend, and I wanted to remind you guys of this. I've told the story before, but the chicken tender, the chicken baskets, I think they call them.
Yeah. Yep.
As a player, you always smell them, especially if you're not playing, because you don't have anything to think about other than how hungry you are while you're watching the game. So there were times, and I just remembered this, where my freshman year, when I knew I was redshirted and I had no chance of going in the game, where at halftime I would sneak out and take the loop around and pound on the back door of one of the concession stands, and they knew to open the door and hand 2 chicken baskets, and they would shut the door again.
Were you in uniform?
Oh, full uniform. I would leave my helmet in the locker room.
Wow.
And I would wait till Franklin made his little journey to the side where the offense was.
Are you absolutely kidding me?
I'm dead serious. I did it multiple times. Multiple times.
Dude,
well,
did
you ever do that, Landon?
I didn't know that was a thing. No one taught me that.
Yeah.
You should have taught me that.
Yeah, I should. That's a failure on my
end.
end.
Because when you come in at halftime and you are a guy that does not play, you're headed right for the snack table.
Yep.
No, I mean, this is like your next level. You're like 400 level class.
Yeah.
I was just 100 level. I was just going to the Lunchables that they have out there. The little Uncrustables, the PB&Js.
Nope.
But he was going to get full on. Did you get sauces too? Do they know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they would give you a ranch and a barbecue.
Yep. They know what to do.
If I was hungry in the side, I'd give us ice. Here's ice. Fill it up here. Ice it up.
That's where we're different.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was a good time. I'm not sure how
I could just imagine him panning the sidelines and Hawk's just standing there in his uniform. He's got like barbecue sauce going down his number. Well, that comes in a fight, obviously. Listen, he got blood all over him.
What did they have for you guys at halftime back in the day?
Oranges. We were like little grade
league.
school kids at oranges.
Yeah.
And on the cold days, they would give us like chicken broth.
Okay.
And that would warm us up.
We still do.
You guys got
like
food?
Hot, yeah. There's like real. I mean,
Sandwiches.
Rice Krispies. The Rice Krispies. Well, here I'll tell this story real quick.
Krispies.
Yep.
Yeah, Rice Krispies.
And
if I wasn't playing, as a freshman, I would grab just bundles. I put them in my bag for later, and I'd get home, and I'd be so thankful later. You don't think of it when you're there, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna do my later self a little bit of a favor and put some food in there. So there's that. But I will tell this story real quick. I've told this on my channel, but when we were at the Rose Bowl, me, Olu, Dog, a couple of us weren't playing. And so we were in the locker room at halftime, and Nick Dawkins, you know him, he's, a funny guy, can put away a lot of food. And next thing you know, we start to basically have a competition. Who can eat the most little bites? Because we have the little bites, the good little chocolate muffins that come in 4 in a pack. And I'm pretty sure Nick Dawkins did about 7 or 8 packs during halftime.
That doesn't surprise me.
It was, yeah. So that is what happens.
Did you do this when you played?
No.
You wouldn't do that. No, like
this is when you're not playing. This is when you're like a freshman or injured.
Who's he? Like the guys who are out there playing?
So that's the whole thing. It's there for the guys that are playing, and then it's just the guys that aren't playing go eat it. And like the nutritionists get mad. They trying to shoo us away.
Yeah, that is true.
When you're playing, the last thing you want to do is that.
No, you don't know. And dude, we got the Hawaiian rolls.
Oh my
Hawaiian rolls with little ham and cheese.
My goodness. Don't even start that, because I remember you mentioned people being stingy with the food.
It's just unbelievable.
Listen, Goon, there was a year
you guys ate better during games than we ate during the week.
Different era.
And you get NIL deals. That's that.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
I don't know. I didn't even really have NIL. I was sold when I saw the table of Uncrustables at halftime as a recruit. I was in. I wasn't going anywhere else.
That is such a fat kid answer. Absolutely.
It's the truth, though. I can't even. Yeah, it's the truth. Anyway, let's get off of the Uncrustables and the Hawaiian rolls.
Well, I do have to say, I got to say, no. I want to talk about not the food, but people that were there. My offensive line coach John Thomas was there. He was unrecognizable to a lot of people. He had a big old beard and goatee down to here. He looked like he was like in a Slayer cover band. You know what I mean? And I'm introducing him to people and like guys. I'm like, hey, you know who that is? And they're like, I'm like, and he'd be like, warm up, and he'd be like, Jesus, it's JT. You know what I mean? And just like the guy that we had the most respect for in the program, it's his first time back since he was unceremoniously let go in 2011.
He was the strength coach?
Oh yeah,
correct,
absolutely. He You could have walked around and asked every one of those people the 2 people that showed up at the tailgate. Well, I guess I'll give 3. I'll put Sue in that group. But Spider was there.
Yeah, that was cool.
I mean, Spider shows up, and it's like the people just come flocking out of the hills like, Spider's out! And now people come running to Spider. JT was there, and then Sue came around for a little bit. So it was great. I mean, you saw the pictures. I took a picture of half of the tailgate, and there was like, you see about 75 people in the picture, and I was like, that's about 25 guys in the NFL just in that picture right there. And there was still 30 more over here. Just all good guys. Had a great time. Penn State took care of us. We're very appreciative of all that. And the game. The game. Very, very, very nice to watch.
It was. Landon, well, let's start with you. You're the offensive line guy in the room. Nick Singleton and Katron Allen are incredible specimen. I mean, this kid, Nick Singleton, that one play that everybody keeps talking about where he absolutely levels a Power 5 defensive end, makes a great catch, turns it upfield off of one step, and truck sticks the defender who's trying to tackle him and gets the first down.
And then stands up, say, "Give me more."
Yeah, starts banging his fist off of his helmet. You can't teach that, Landon.
In front of their sideline.
Yeah,
their sideline was like,
That's when they knew it was over.
Yeah, that was it.
That's when Katron or Nick resort to the smashing helmet
it's
celebration.
Not a good sign.
That means if you're the defense, you might as well wave the white flag because it's over. And it was big time. And once again, Penn State came out and ran the ball really well. They've ran the ball for over 200 yards in every single game. Ran for I think 241, and it was dominance up front. And I think coming into this game, it was a little bit of the first test for Penn State. The Illinois defense was really good. Yep. Their D-backs are really good. Legit. Still, they have only allowed one 150-yard passer in 5 games. I mean, that's legit group secondary there for Illinois. But I am just really impressed with the young group of guys. There were some big question marks coming into the year. Hey, Caden and Olu were fantastic older tackles. We're going to plug in 2 young guys. How is that going to go? I think it's went really well so far. So, I mean, that's a testament to Nick Dawkins, Philip Troutwine, the leaders of that room, and then the young guys are rising to the occasion. But they protected Drew really well. And like I said, they ran the ball at will. And I feel like this is honestly one of the first games in a while where it felt like Penn State was able to truly rely on the run, not, run and pass both working. But, hey, the pass isn't great. They did what he needed to do. Drew took care of the ball. I thought he did an awesome job. But we need the run game to go. And everybody, tight ends, running backs, O-line, they answered the call. And they opened the gates, and it was fun to watch. Katron Allen kicking the door open when he scored the touchdown. Yeah. It was fiery passion out of that whole offensive group.
We'll ask Zane a little bit about the defensive side of the ball, but offensively, I think that 3 years ago was weighing on our guys' minds, and that was how Illinois tried to come out and tough it up, beat us up.
Yeah,
and they did 3 years ago.
They did.
I know it had nothing to do with Zane. There's one guy here who was out there.
Yeah. I was there.
It is what it is.
Out there might be.
But I have to say,
I was there.
I truly feel as our offensive line, they were ready for a dogfight, and I think that they were like, okay, this is going to be a dogfight.
Yep.
And we're going to be Rottweilers out here. And dude, we're not small up front.
No.
Like, they're enormous. Our offensive line is as big as the offensive lineman as we've had ever.
Yeah.
Donko's huge.
Yeah. So
Anthony Donko's huge.
There's a video. I wish I had it for the show right now, but I ended up seeing him pregame. He walked by me, and I said what's up to him, and I dapped him up. And when he hugged me, it felt like I was hugging a grizzly bear. Like, that is a massive human being. That offensive line is huge.
Hawks out there crying.
It was crazy. I felt helpless. I mean, he was so he's physically opposing. Anyway, so let me ask you. Go ahead, Landon.
I honestly, I just want to get into Tyler Warren. I mean, we might as well talk about it. He is doing everything, and it's fun. Every time he lines up at quarterback, it feels like something good happens for the offense. And then if you didn't notice, the touchdown that he ran in, dove over, and then Nick Singleton scored the touchdown later. It was the same exact play. Yep. So, I mean, Andy Kotonicki coming back to the same thing, and he's saying, hey, if it ain't broke, I ain't going to fix it. Yep. So it's fun to see the offense just kind of firing. And when one side of the ball, one piece of the offense is lacking a little bit, the other side picks it up. That's what it's about. That's why you're a team.
Well, I think going back to our 94 thing, and I will say, it's like, if you have a run pass real good, both you can both run the ball and pass the ball. You got to pick out what you're going to try to do. And I think that they were just going to say, you know what, we're going to sit here and, we're not going to get picked apart wide receiver wise, tight end wise, passing wise. So they gave up the run a little bit, and we took advantage of it. I mean, we really physically imposed ourselves on that defense, and you could hear it on the field. I mean, you could see it on the field that our guys were ready for that game.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. If it was the whiteout energy, I don't know if it was because there was some disrespect for the last couple of years against Illinois, or our team is that prepared to go right now. And I think that this is a team that's going to say, you know what, we're going to beat you, and we're going to beat you up.
Yeah.
And it's actually fun to watch, man.
Yeah, the physicality is clear. And again, you see it from the offensive line group so typically from this unit. But again, the running backs getting involved in the pass blocking game. Tyler Warren, again, who is a super vet guy, doesn't necessarily have to block like that to get drafted high, but he still chooses to block like that every chance he gets. Landon, I want to ask you, where does Tyler Warren rank in terms of playmakers in the modern era? I know that seems like a broad discussion to have, but the way he has played consistently throughout his career here, he really has put himself in that point where he should be in the conversation.
I think he can be in that conversation because, and honestly, you go back to 2021, that Tyler Warren Wildcat quarterback was a big thing. He had 3 rushing touchdowns that year. He threw one too. It was fun, and Andy Kotelnicki kind of dusted the cobwebs off of that one and brought it back out.
But he wasn't as big then as he is.
He's not even
larger now.
He's like 260 something now. I mean, back then he was like him
going over the top of that, jumping and that touchdown. He looked like Tim Tebow doing that.
Yeah, I think it's so cool, and I know we've had so many good tight ends here recently.
Yeah.
But like having played with Pat Freiermuth, he's got some Pat in him in terms of what he's able to do in the red zone, going up and getting the football. But he's got like that Brenton Strange dog in him in the run blocking game too. He does a little bit of everything. And honestly, he may be a better athlete than any of the tight ends who have come out of Penn State in recent years, really going back to Gesicki.
And hear me out, I think he might have the best hands too.
I think he may.
Because he is, when Drew throws the ball up to him, he knows, hey, if that's 50-50, I'm giving him a shot. And he might come down with it because he is a dynamic player.
I have to call the Philadelphia Eagles when I get done this show.
Yeah.
Hey guys, there's a guy up here in State College who might fit in very well with
you might want to
the
check
Eagles,
him out.
so.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to the break.
Yeah, boys.
We'll be right back with more coverage of Penn State football on the other end of this right here.
WFXS, Huntington.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America. 98.7 The Fox State College.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get too quick to steak and lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get too quick to steak and lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
You're tuned in to the Blue and White Players Show with Keith Goon Conlon, Aeneas Hawkins, and Landon Tengwall. Broadcasting live from the 19th hole at the Penn State Golf Courses every Monday at 6 p.m. all season long. Special thanks to this season's sponsors of the Players Show: Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty, Turner Construction, Austin and Pam Schanfelter, Chris and Lisa Heydrich, Marco Rivera, and Sherry Lane. Now back to more of the Blue and White Players Show.
Welcome back to the Blue White Players Show. We are joined by the man who just had the game of his career so far. He's found ways to continuously get better throughout the entirety of your career. And you're a guy that they were high on very early, but still you found ways to exceed expectations. We are joined by my guy, Zane Durant. Zane, how are you feeling today, brother?
I'm good. Blessed beyond measure.
Goon, I'm not sure if you know this. I'm not sure if we've talked about this, but I say it every time I get my guy Zane on here.
Up too?
Nah, Zane never laid his hands on me. No. He did once. I'm not even going to tell that story. But I did have Zane.
Stories by. All right, here we go.
I had Zane on an official visit.
Oh, you did?
So I had Zane.
I like how you baited me a little bit today. Yep. You're like, he's here because of me.
I'm not going to say that. Zane made a good decision, and obviously it's paid off for him. But I will say there were other schools in consideration at that point. Now, Coach Scott, John Scott, who's the D-line coach at the time, I'm a senior. I think the season may have even been done. Like, I'm not even an active player anymore at this point. Mm-hmm. He calls me, and I pretend like I'm in class because I know it's official visit weekend, and I have no reason to want to be a part of that at this point. I'm about to be out of school.
That's so funny. Old school, new school, it doesn't matter. That's the same thing we
used to do. It doesn't change. It doesn't change. So I'm like,
you're right.
So I text Coach Scott. I'm like, listen, man, I'm in class. I can't talk on the phone right now. He's like, Hawk, I'm looking at your class schedule. If you lie to me again, it's going to be a problem. So I called him back immediately. He's like, yo, we got this young guy, this young cat out of Florida, Zane Durant, and we need him to come to Penn State. You got to be at dinner at 6 o'clock. I'm like, again, Coach, can't do it. He's like, Hawk, I'm not asking you. So I pull up reluctantly. Didn't even really want to be there. I don't know if you even know all this. I meet Zane and his family and immediately was all in on my guy right here. It was so much fun. His family was cool. Met your people early, and then you chose to come to Penn State. So I want to talk about that decision a little bit and what it meant to come to Penn State at that time coming out of high school.
Yeah, to me, Penn State was one of the top schools. You know, they're like a football blue blood, and that's what I would like to do, win and dominate. And that's what Penn State got a rich tradition of doing. So it was really an easy decision for me. The hardest thing for me was really just the weather thing. You know, I'm from Florida. And
that's fair. I get it.
Yeah, like I never seen snow before, so I didn't know what to do and how to play football in the cold and all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Florida boy. I'm born, been there my whole life. So that was the only thing that gave me like second thoughts about it. But then once I got up here, it was no second thoughts.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when I think you were a summer visit. Yeah, I remember going to the pool.
They did it on purpose.
That is very intentional. They are not stupid. So can you talk to me a little bit about
area?
It's smart, right?
What part of Florida?
Orlando.
Yep.
All right. Orlando. And where else were we looking?
Miami.
Were you committed to Miami at that point?
No, I committed the week after.
Okay.
But I basically was committed, man.
Yeah. I remember you talking like, yeah, I like Miami, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But then we flipped it. Again, I'm not going to say it was because of me. But if I didn't pull up to that official visit dinner, where is Zane Durant today? That's all I'm asking.
That's true.
That's all I'm asking.
That's true. This goes no farther than here.
No, nowhere.
But Goon was given one recruit in his 5 years.
Okay, and how'd that
got
go?
Arrested.
And never again did you get a recruit.
I was right. Yeah, that was never asked one more time ever again. Ever.
Not a good deal.
They always have their little guys that they like to, you know, they feel as if they have a feel for Zane, and they feel as if, you know what, Aeneas should be good for him. You know what I mean? They don't want to match up guys that don't like. They probably thought that you guys had something in common,
right?
You know what I mean? So I remember they had me matched up when I made my official visit with Bucky Greeley, who's literally one of my best friends in the world right now.
Uh-huh.
But like a guy I grew up with was 2 years older than me, went to my rival high school. I was like, no, I'm going to be with Pickett.
Right.
And the coach was like, I don't know. He's like, I know your family and I know him. And it was like, yeah, he starts yelling at me. I'm on my official visit, and they're yelling at me like, me and Pickett are gasoline and fire. We shouldn't be mixed together. And I'm like, oh wow, I can't wait to get here.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, that's how it was.
So what did Hawk do?
Man, Hawk was just down to earth. You know, I'm a guy about my business. You know what I'm saying? He didn't sell me no dream. Him and Doc was the two guys that was around me majority of the time on the visit. And I was just picking at him, asking questions about things outside of football. You know. Everybody know what Penn State does football-wise, you know what I'm saying? But as a player aspect and as a human being, how they develop you as a man and life lessons and stuff like that. And that's what they really got me at.
That's a mature answer right there. Very, very mature answer for an 18-year-old kid to be thinking about that, to be honest with you, because all I could think about was three things. We're not going to describe those three things, but I think we can all put it together.
I have no interest in
Well,
knowing
yeah,
what
it was
those
like,
things are.
that's amazing that you're saying that. You know, you were 18 years old and you realized, like, because when I was a college recruiter, it was always like our recruiting pitch was, hey, this is not a 4-year commitment, it's a 40-year commitment.
Yeah,
you're part of the family. You know, you're here until you die. You know, you're a member of this alumni association. Shout out to the Penn State Alumni Association in the crowd. What's up, girls? You know, so that's good that you had that attitude and you could see through that.
Yeah,
it was easy if you had that kind of attitude, it's easy to pick out coaches who are full of you.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And then it just makes you mad. It's like now you're insulting me.
Yeah,
that.
Most definitely.
So I'll ask you, Zane, where did that maturity come from? Because again, you have been able to play at a really high level and do it really early and consistently. But I remember hosting you on your visit and walking away impressed with where your head was at that point so early in your career, being so young. I've met your family before. I know that they're a big part of the reason why you play as hard as you do right now, but I want to know, where did that come from? Do you feel like that maturity?
Yeah, that came from my pop, man. That's all from my pop. You know what I'm saying? I was a mama's boy, but my dad got me to change that quickly when I was young to try to, like, become my own man. You know what I'm saying? So he always told me, don't depend on nobody. Even if that's your mama, love your mama hard, but you got to do what you got to do because you got to become a man in this world, and it's hard to do that.
No doubt.
And you understand that at 18. Good for you, man.
It was impressive.
That's awesome, though.
Listen,
I hope to one day mature. People have been asking, when am I going to mature?
Yeah.
I'm 51. I'm getting there, Bubba. I'm getting there. But that's amazing to hear, man. That has somebody that has 18 years old who has those aspirations and has those thoughts. And that's amazing. That's a fantastic. And it's a testament to your family for raising you like that. And congrats, man. Awesome. You made a hell of a decision. And let's get into the game, man.
Yeah.
What the hell got into you? What the hell did that left guard say to you?
Man, I don't know. We saying a lot of stuff. We was exchanging words all day, so you know what
Did he come over and call you daddy after the game?
No, none of that.
That's wild.
Woo!
That's wild.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Woo, baby.
So I want to ask you, Zane, you are playing really well. You played really well under Manny Diaz, but there seems to be an even larger leap here in this next year under Tom Allen. What is it about his scheme that fits your play style?
I'll say it's really me. It's not nothing about the scheme. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm comfortable and I know what my assets are. And I this offseason, I really tapped into those and try to hone in on those and make those my fastball and for this year, for real.
So let's talk about that. So what is your fastball and what is it about you as a player that you feel like allows you to play at such a high level?
Well, first I'll say it's my mental. That's been my weakness since I came in. You know what I'm saying? It's been hard for me to actually believe in myself and have confidence. And this year I feel like nobody could see me. So I think that's my number one thing that I really honed in this offseason. And then my speed and my strength, my get off the ball, that's the thing that set me apart.
Amazing, man. Because you would stand up next to me or Landon right now, and we'd be 6 inches taller than you.
Yeah,
right?
y'all taller than
Let's not kid ourselves. You know how hard it is to block a guy at your size,
no doubt,
at that position, and how low you play. I mean, I know you guys. This is the old school. Because I know you got a John Randall from back in the '90s. Minnesota Vikings.
You know John Randall, don't you?
Yeah, I know
John Randall. About that high off
the
floor. So I was with Marco all weekend, and we were talking. He was talking about how he was so hard to block, and then we were talking about you. I was like, I don't say little John Randall out there. And he goes, he does.
Yeah.
When you're on a 3 technique and you rip across and you swam across his face and went through the A gap and they had a 3-yard loss, you don't see that. That's a hell of a play, man.
Yeah.
Only guy I seen do that here was Jordan Hill.
Yeah.
Jordan Hill. Me and Booch were talking about it. Jordan Hill in the 2012 Wisconsin game, I had never seen a defensive tackle just absolutely dominate a game like he did against a Wisconsin team that has, Illinois has a good offensive line. They have a great coach who's all about beef and size and being physical. And you guys, you just went out there and you tore him up, man. That was the best game I saw from a down tackle since Jordan Hill.
Yeah.
If not, it's up there with Jordan Hill. It is with Jordan Hill. Excuse me. Impressive. And when they said you were coming on, I was like, damn right, man. This is a career game. It's a great time to talk about it.
Yeah. You mentioned your get off. You mentioned being more athletic than the interior offensive lineman you're facing off against. What?
Come on now. Let's chill out of the athleticism stuff.
Listen,
come on.
Listen, he's a hater.
We're human beings,
lineman.
okay, man?
He's offensive lineman, man. What I was asking you, though, Zane, is you're what, 290 pounds, give or take?
Yeah, 290.
So how are you moving so athletically still at that weight? Again, I feel like so many guys come in and they may be terrific athletes in high school, but they're playing at 245, 260 pounds when they come in and got to put 30, 40 pounds on. and you naturally lose some of that, but you've been able to maintain that. How much of that is the program with Coach Losi? What are you eating? Is there anything special about your preparation that allows you to stay so athletic?
Yeah, honestly, it's the strength staff all the way. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. So I bought into the strength staff as soon as I got here and just play hard, take the weight room serious. And my diet is not really nothing crazy. I eat a lot of sweets. I'm not gonna lie, but I work out hard and I put in extra work so I could burn those calories off. So
what is a Zane Durant guilty pleasure snack? What type of sweets might we catch Zane Durant?
What are you eating at halftime?
Oh, halftime.
I mean, we got to get to this part. We got a little whatchamacallit, a little Fifth Avenues.
Yeah, no, I really don't eat that much. I might bust a couple packs of grapes. That's about it.
Yeah, because
he's playing.
You're out there playing. It's like I don't want that in my
that's
stomach.
the point, Goon. That's what we're saying. That's why I was eating chicken tenders.
I don't know why the hell you're even dressed then. If you're eating out there eating chicken
tenders,
oh, no.
Let me take it sweats.
Oh no.
Anyway, that's not important, man. I'm not sure how we got here yet again.
Buffalo chicken with
oh no.
Yeah, all the
look at his number.
Yeah. We got to get to the break. We'll be back with more questions for you, Zane, and more specifically about the Penn State football defense this season. Make sure to stay tuned on the other end of the break.
WFXS, once again.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America. 98.7 The Fox State College.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Rings and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get too quick to stay canoe.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get too quick to stay canoe.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing and State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
You're tuned in to the Blue and White Players Show with Keith Goon Conlon, Aeneas Hawkins, and Landon Tengwall. Broadcasting live from the 19th hole at the Penn State Golf Courses every Monday at 6 p.m. all season long. Special thanks to this season's sponsors of the Players Show: Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty, Turner Construction, Austin and Pam Schanfelter, Chris and Lisa Heydrich, Marco Rivera, and Sherry Lane. Now back to more of the Blue and White Players Show.
Welcome back to the Blue White Players Show. Still joined by my guy, Zane Durant, also Landon Tangwall in the building yet again. I want to get right back into it, Zane. You guys were more physical than Illinois up front, which is a group that, again, prides themselves on physicality and being able to run the football at will. And they were clearly unable to do that with your group up front. So I want to ask you, was there a moment during that game where you knew that offensive line had quit and they knew that they couldn't do anything with your unit?
No, I'm not gonna lie. They were a good, tough opponent. You know what I'm saying? They fought to the last whistle. They ain't give us nothing for free. You know what I'm saying? Start off the first drive fast. So they were a tough, good opponent, but we just had to do what we had to do.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, Zane, he's very, very nice guy, but they dominated them all day long.
Yeah, they whooped them.
Listen, so that first drive, it's scripted plays. It's the play you come in, the quarterback, the offense coordinator, they all talk about it, and they are, game plan for the defense. But the rest of the game, that's when you really see who the better players, the better coaches are. And every single time, Coach Tom Allen is doing his thing. You guys have only allowed 9 points in the second half all year. In 4 games, a total of 9 points. So, I mean, you guys are clearly dominant out there and able to adjust. What's it like to be able to play for a coach like that is just, continuing to just hammer in that you guys just being physical, being dominant, that type of thing? It seems like it's wearing off on you guys.
Yeah, man, it's fun. It's fun playing for a defensive coordinator like that. You know what I'm saying? He got the same vision as us. We like to dominate as a defensive line. That's Penn State tradition. We want to take over games and let our linebackers play free and roam around and make plays and let the DBs take care of the back end. You know what I'm saying? So it's good for a coach to believe in us like that, and that really pays off for the D-line.
Yeah, you talk about playing with some really good linebackers, other guys on the D-line. Abdul Carter just won Defensive Player of the Week for the Big Ten, and I'm be honest, if it wasn't for him, you probably would have won it. But Abdul had a crazy game too. The defense was just balling as a whole. 13 TFLs, tackles for loss. I mean, that I don't know the last time. Have you ever been a part of a game like that before?
I don't know. Not since I've been here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a game that dominant. I think the only one I would compare it to, I think 2019, we played Purdue. Somebody fact check me. We had 10 sacks that game, I think. So that was the one time where it was like, okay, this D-line is clearly taking over this game. And you guys played to that level, if not beyond it, because of what you did in the run game as well. It was impressive. But I do want to ask, you bring up Abdul. Obviously, we know about the 9. There's some other ends in that room who deserve their flowers as well. When you guys get in pass rush situations, when you earn the right to go pass rush, how excited is that group getting? How high is that group's confidence in those situations that they're going to be able to make an impact?
Yeah, that's everything for us. You know what I'm saying? That's where we make our money at third downs or a long passing situation. That's where we see we get to open up and show what we could do.
You know what they used to call third and long back at Penn State when I was there?
What they call
third and hawk. Because it was that's when I was
believe that.
Third and hawk.
I ain't
Frank
buying
will hold
it,
it
man.
up. Third and hawk, man. Get him in there.
I ain't buying it.
Anyway, I want to ask more about your development. What are some of, not just your development either. I want to look at that defense really as a whole, because like Landon mentioned, you guys are dominant really all 4 quarters, but especially that second half, you guys can become so restricting for the offenses that you play. How does this defense continue to get better throughout the weeks as the meat of the schedule continues to approach?
I mean, we just got to be critical of ourselves. That's one thing that we do this year. We're not really looking at bigger picture. We're looking at what we got to do. The results will take care of itself if you do what you got to do. But technique-wise, we still got a lot of things we need to clean up to play our best ball in defense.
I do want to ask you, Zane, just walk us through. Now, don't give the secret sauce away, everything you're doing, because you're doing it at the highest level. But can you talk about how you are opening it up for the linebackers, similar how the offensive line, we block for the running backs to open the holes for them. You kind of try to absorb as many offensive linemen as possible to create holes for your linebackers to get through. Can you just talk about what that is like playing with Tony Rojas, Kobe King, some really great players?
Yeah, so for sure. I don't see it as taking up blocks. You know me, I'm trying to make a play too. So
I like it.
They leave me one-on-one.
I love that.
I'm going to make a play. So they know not to leave me one-on-one. So if they send more blockers, and they allow linebackers to come through.
Right. I love that, man. So often you hear D coordinators and D-line coaches talking. I mean, they would do it to us. PJ Mustipher going the game, you got to take on 2, let Micah Parsons run around and make plays. And I love, Zane, that you won't allow that. You're going to go make the play first. You're going to go out there. No doubt, man. No doubt. So anyway, back to the defense, though. You mentioned, again, sticking to that process and sticking to the script and finding ways to be critical of yourselves. But what extra work does that defensive line unit specifically put in throughout the week to ensure that you guys are in a good position? I know Mondays are off days. Like, what did today look like as a group, and how do you find ways to get better throughout the week?
Yeah, so Monday for us today, the D-line, we came in, had group film for a little bit, it's really a huge recovery day for us to get our bodies back, get our feet underneath us, and get ready for this Tuesday practice that we got tomorrow. You know, hard work Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's one of them days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So we got to
definitely
get
one
our
of
feet
those
under
days.
us today. They get ready to go back out there tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt. Zane, I do want to ask you, though, you guys, I mean, dominated more than I've ever seen this past Saturday, but also the offensive line did too.
Yeah.
And I don't think you know them. You know them the best out of anybody because you go against them, you know, every single day. How have you seen the growth of some young guys? Cooper Cousins playing a ton. Venga Ioane is playing some really good ball. I mean, these are guys you go up against all the time. What has it been like to see their progression, man?
Man, it's exciting because I go against those guys every day, man. He tell me what I need to work on. I tell him, like, hey, bro, look, you showing this. I could tell you doing this by doing this. And he changed it on the spot. So that I think that's we both helping each other get better in that aspect. So I think we just gonna keep growing throughout the season.
No doubt. You got Nick Dawkins leading the helm there on the offensive line too. You guys, and the defensive line depth. I don't people understand.
Yeah, they don't know.
I mean, this is like the best D-line Penn State has had in a long time. No offense, Hawk. But
No, I don't. Well,
I'll throw
listen.
some shots over your group. You're
Listen.
the past guys. You're a little bit of the older crowd.
Well, listen, and that's fine. And I actually just had this discussion pretty transparently with Devon J. Thomas, as a matter of fact. We talked about it. As you know, Devon played with some of those old units that I did as well. And he'll tell you, and I've told him, I think that as far as pound for pound starters, we had some good players. We had Yetur Gross-Matos of the world. We had different players who went on to play in the NFL. But the depth now, like across the board at every position on the defensive line, is completely different than what it was when I was even there. And we were known as being one of the best defensive lines in the country at that point. And even still, to find a way to climb and get even better is impressive to watch. And we got to give credit again to Deion Barnes as well, who is really still in the infancy stages of where he will be as a college football coach. He's a young guy. He's just getting started and will continue to get better. Definitely an exciting time to be on that Penn State defense. I do want to ask you about the offense one more time. It's clear that Drew is playing with a crazy amount of confidence. I can remember being at a spring ball practice and watching the D-line go after Drew, and where maybe you would have thought that he would have cowered or tucked his tail a little bit, I see Drew yelling right back at the defensive line by himself, not worried about it, not scared, not ducking any of that competition. So you mentioned your own confidence. What have you seen out of your quarterback in terms of confidence this year comparatively to where he was at before?
I think his confidence has grown a tremendous amount. We put that fire to him as a D-line, you know what I'm saying? So we make him come out, you know what I'm saying? We talk trash to him, we bring pressure. You know, coach gonna dial up pressure during practice. We give him the hardest look that he ever got. So by the time he get to the game, everything else come easy and natural to him.
And that's the thing. This defense is one of, if not the best units in college football. So if you're Drew Aller and you're that offense, you're already playing against tougher competition than you're going to see on 99% of your Saturdays, if not all of them. You're playing the best unit in the country. So how important, again, I want to harp on it, that iron sharpening iron attitude. That you know, I know Coach Franklin plasters it on his doors, the most competitive environment of college football. Do you truly feel like Penn State has become that?
Yeah, I mean, since day one, it's been that. You know what I'm saying? Landon knows when I first came in, I think I was 255. I went against Landon and Juice Scruggs. They took me for a ride. Went to workouts. That was a rude awakening for me. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, since day one, it's been like that, man. I don't think nothing's changed since I've been here.
No, I will tell you what has changed is he's put on a lot of weight. So I do want to talk about Chuck Losey. We also got to shout out the training table staff coming with some great food now. So I know everybody's putting on. Goon's over in the corner with his hands in the air. They were feeding them just like a block of cheese and some rice back in the day. I don't know how they got away with that. The NCAA is forever elusive with that. But now we do eat very, very well. Like I mentioned, Chuck Losey. What's that been? You know, in my opinion, we've all been around this group, this strength staff. It's the best in the country. What's it like getting to go to work every day with them? And I just want to preface this by saying we spend the most time with the strength coaches, more than our Coach 100%. Franklin, more than our position coach. So what has that meant to you to be able to work with that great group of men? Yeah,
once you build a connection with them, a true connection, and like me and Coach Losey and Coach Tyrone Smith, those are the guys I'm with all the time. We got a genuine connection. So when I go out there and work out and they say something's off, I know he's not trying to attack me. It's a real connection for he wants the best for me in the future. So that's why I know that's coming from.
If you can develop a relationship that is built on like mutual respect with your strength coach, that's the best thing for you. Because I can just think, I mean, in my personal time at Penn State, there were many times where I didn't think I was capable of doing something in the weight room or on the field. But Coach Losey would come approach me before the lift. And he would look me in my eyes and say, "Come on, beast, get your piss hot." And you know what time that means. You know what it is.
Well, you had it a little bit different than Zane because Losi, for us, for the most part, I had Deej for 1 year, but Losi was your actual, position coach as far as the strength. What was that like?
That was a different time, man. That was a different time. Coach Losi, you can't. He doesn't have an off day. So if you come in there and think that he's going to feel for you if you're having an off day, you just got the wrong guy. That's not his forte.
Yeah,
but he, at the same time, as Zane, you can attest to this. Coach Losi, if you're one of his guys, will go to battle for you with anybody at any time. And you know he has your back, and that's what makes him so easy to respect, Zane.
For sure.
On that note, I want to ask you, and we'll get out of here soon, but I know you're a freak in the weight room, like super duper strong. So I want to know, on the squat rack, what is your max? What is your squat max?
Springtime, I thought I did like 565 for like 5.
For 5 of them. Quick,
just 5.
Yeah, nothing major. How about bench?
I think I did 385 for like 6.
Okay. How's that stack up with you, Landon? You were strong.
Better. His squat's definitely better than mine. This guy he's compact, and we haven't got to talk about this. I had to go against Zane all the time in practice. It's not fun. It's not easy because I'll tell you, he has great leverage, and he's able to get up under you. And even, he talks about early on, when those freshmen first come in, that's when you're able to get your licks on them.
Yeah.
But you can tell right away, you're like, all right, this kid's going to be special.
Yeah,
but he's still like a little kid right now. He's still 18, and I'm like 21. So we could get him for a second.
Yeah.
But we knew Zane's time was coming. And now here we sit, Zane, one of the best D tackles in the entire nation, man. So
Big time, man.
We really appreciate you sitting down with us, man, and just talking. I think it's fun for the audience to just get this. We kind of just go through what the week looks like, your recruitment process, that type of thing. So we really do appreciate you sharing that with us. I do want to say, obviously, got UCLA coming up this week, and then a couple other things coming up, bye week, that type of thing, going to Cali.
Yeah.
I know it's one game at a time. But I just want to ask you excited to go to the West Coast though?
Yeah, I'm excited to play them, man. That's a different type of ball over there from Big Ten ball, so I'm excited to see what they bring.
Because you were there for the Rose Bowl, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
You've been out to Cali once before.
I played in the Rose Bowl, yeah.
Dude, we had the worst weather that week. We went out there. I hope it's better out there in a couple weeks. I'm sorry. I don't mean to, Coach Franklin, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I know it's 1-0. We got UCLA this week. Just wanted to talk about it a little bit. But
you know, Coach Franklin can't hurt you anymore. Like,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
You don't have to listen to anything he says anymore. I just want that to be a reminder for you. It's over. Don't worry.
It's done. It sounds like we both have flashbacks.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. I know exactly where you're at. Thank you for listening. We'll be back on the other end of this break. Zane, appreciate you joining us, brother.
Appreciate y'all.
WFXS, once again.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA Sports Authority. WFXS America. 98.7 The Fox State College.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get too quick to steak and lose.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get too quick to steak and lose.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing and State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
You're tuned in to the Blue and White Players Show with Keith Goon Conlon, Aeneas Hawkins, and Landon Tengwall. Broadcasting live from the 19th hole at the Penn State Golf Courses every Monday at 6 p.m. all season long. Special thanks to this season's sponsors of the Players Show: Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty, Turner Construction, Austin and Pam Schanfelter, Chris and Lisa Heydrich, Marco Rivera, and Sherry Lane. Now back to more of the Blue and White Players Show.
Welcome back into the Blue and White Players Show. I'm Aeneas Hawkins, joined by my guy, Landon Tengwall. I'm not sure where Goon went. Nobody knows where Goon's at right now.
He's an old guy. He's hustling back. That was a quick
that
key
was
for
really
you,
fast.
honestly.
Yeah, you were moving.
That's okay.
We
Definitely
won't shake
not.
your hand.
I gotta say this. Sorry. So, yes, I was in the bathroom taking a pee. I had a minute to do what I said. I'm not as fast as I used to be, but
especially not after this
you
weekend.
should have seen the Coctagon, they call it,
Yeah.
the multiple bathrooms in the
Yep.
in the parking lots.
Is that an official term?
Yes, and I have great news, man.
Okay.
What's the
Let's
great
hear it.
news?
They're going to dedicate one. It's in honor of Keith Conlon.
Who told you
the
that?
one of the Letterman's lot. I did it myself.
What does that mean?
So
What is the process
So I'm just
like
saying,
to get
it was
one named after you?
overflowing at 5 o'clock next to our tailgate because you had a bunch of Uncle Ricos out there, me and my friends who were
Uncle
like
Ricos.
thinking it was 1993 again, and we're going to drink a keg of beer apiece. Meanwhile, beer, pee.
Yep.
We're all 50 plus now, man.
Yeah, I respect it, man. I respect it.
But I took the boys out this week. I had the last crew leave today, so I went over to Troy's Hoagies over in Belfont, bro. So he tells me, Troy, I don't know if you guys have ever been there before.
I've not been.
I have
before.
not.
We're straight fatties, so I love it. You know, we get out of campus steaks and all that. So
I love.
we got Troy's, and he told me that this weekend, anybody needs a tailgate idea. They're doing breakfast sandwiches on trays and hoagies and trays. And fill your whole tailgate and just pick it up on the way into town. Right?
Oh, I love that.
It's right off of 99, so it's an easy way in, easy way out. So I told Troy I'd take care of him today, and they are the best. I do have a lot of Philadelphia people who come up here, and they will attest. Even the guys at the Campus Steaks said yesterday that their hoagies are the best up in this area. So Troy's Hoagies, if you need anything with your tailgate this weekend. So
check it out.
UCLA, man.
Yeah, UCLA. I was going to say we got because you're kind of a Philly guy now.
Yeah,
he's a Philly guy. Philly area, right outside of Philly.
Exactly.
That is, if you go to Penn State, you hear I'm right outside of Philly.
But then you got to respect the mutants from Philadelphia because they're the idiots who still pay the city taxes and stuff. They're the ones who are like, they pay the city tax to say they're actually from Philly. I can't say it, so I don't pay the city tax. So grew up outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
All right. When you got people in Reading saying they're from outside of Philadelphia, you're like, that's an hour away, man. That's
there's a lot of people that wish they were from Philly, but they're right outside.
Well, after the food you've been eating, how much food have I taken care of you with?
A lot this weekend, pretty much every single meal.
Does Goon
and drinks.
Does Goon not take care of you with the Philly cuisine?
He does.
Have you ever met a skinny Philadelphia person?
No,
it doesn't happen.
No,
it's not a
We're
thing.
Fat for
now
a
that I
reason,
think
man.
about it,
yeah, that's actually a really good point.
That is interesting.
Okay, so moving. let's talk about UCLA for a second.
I can't wait to whip them.
Yeah, I don't think they're very good. We're going to welcome them to the Big Ten. They really haven't shown too much promise at all this year. And I think coming off a game where we dominated on the ground game, and like I said, Drew Aller had a good game. He didn't turn over the ball. He made the passes he needed to make. And so I think the ability to lean on the ground game and seeing that we can do that against a good team. I mean, this was the number 19 team in the nation, and we manhandled them.
There, by the way.
Yeah, they're good.
They are a top 20 football team.
They
are absolutely a very good football team.
They are, and when you handle something like that, but prove it early on to and the guys in the locker room, they believe, hey, we can do this. We can go out there and be physical against Ohio State, against USC, and we can rely on that. But I also think UCLA presents a bit of an opportunity, and whatever they were in before this Pac-12, I don't know. They don't play any defense on the West Coast, so I don't think it changes just because they joined the Big Ten.
Correct.
No,
I think
not in a year.
We got opportunity to shred them, and I think get the wide receivers back involved. Which I will say too, as much as we didn't pass it that much, a lot of the wide receivers. I mean, we saw Liam Clifford, Julian Fleming, Trey Wallace had a catch, Tyler Warren. I mean, we were spreading the ball around too. So I saw a lot of good things from the offense this past week, and I think now there is a weekend here going into UCLA where you have an opportunity to really build upon that. And if you're Drew Aller, you can let it rip a lot and continue to take these shots to Amari Evans. We take one a game, and it works out.
I have a name for this type of game.
What's that?
It's the Hawk. The Hawk game.
The Hawk game. The Hawk would play in this type of game.
I just understood what he was saying.
The Hawk. It's the Hawk game. I used to call it the cigar, like the victory cigar. Shout out to my boy Ross Muir. He was one of the walk-on kids when I was coaching here. So I was like his little Svengali and stuff like that. Love this kid. He'd be like, I'm getting in. I'm like, the cigar. As soon as Ross gets the call, you can light the victory cigar on the side, because Ross is getting in. So this should be a Hawk game.
We'll have to. He's going to ask you the question after UCLA. How many minutes would you have played?
Yeah, and I'll give an honest answer. I'll let you know the truth. I think one thing I want to mention here is that when you have a quote unquote Hawk game, the preparation during the week doesn't change. So there is, with the typical week schedule, those guys who are playing, they're doing things to tinker down the work that they're doing throughout the practices during the week to make sure they're fresh for the game.
Of course.
If you are not one of those guys and you're just an Aeneas Hawkins who's going to go in for the second half, you're doing every rep on scout team still. You're squatting and deadlifting on Friday morning, the day before a game, which makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense to squat and deadlift the day before the game.
Sounds like you still have some bones to pick.
It's just like, what are we doing?
Well, obviously can't hurt you either, Huck.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good point.
Can't hurt you.
So that is kind of how freshman year works. When they are trying to put muscle on you and change your body composition, you work out as much as possible.
Yeah.
So those Fridays, I remember, and
they're harder than a summer.
They are, and you get after it because it's like, hey, these guys, this is important for them. These other guys, Tyler Warren's been in the program for 5 years. He's strong. But you go in Friday morning, and you have an opportunity to possibly play that weekend. And and I have front squat, and I have to put 315 on front squat, and my legs are shaking, and I have to now board a plane and sit there for 2.5 hours, and my legs hurt. I'm in between two because as a freshman, you don't get a good seat on the plane either.
No, you don't.
You're not in an aisle and nothing.
This is unbelievable.
I will tell you, to the Rose Bowl in 2022.
Don't start.
We had the business class.
I saw what it was.
Where you get to lay all the way flat. It gave me the worst sinus infection ever. I had the sinus infection for 2 days at the Rose Bowl. It was awful. So it was bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to inject a personal story there, but it was. Yeah, but you haven't had a business
out on a plane for 3 hours, 4 hours,
5 hours.
5 hours gave you a sinus infection.
It will, but it was good food though.
Sure.
Good food and good service. So. Shout out the
I don't even know where to go from there. I don't know.
We are campus things.
What was your flight out to the Rose Bowl like? About 30 years ago.
We had different. It was 30 years ago. We actually were given money to get our own flights out there.
Really?
Were you guys here when they changed that? But there were some rules where
they still kind of do it.
I always say that the old man would get us money when he could get us money legally. So what you would do is we would go out there. I think we went to the Rose Bowl on December 20th.
Okay.
So, and we had a week full of practice. You guys, it's all different practices. So we had a week of practice out there before we went in the bowl week. And it was like we didn't practice in between Michigan State and the Rose Bowl.
Wasn't it like camp practice?
It was just like camp practice.
It was like camp in December.
Man. In December in Christmas. LA, 2-a-days.
That's how 2-a-days.
2-a-days, but you had 3 weeks off. Like you were in the weight room a couple days a week and running and this and that. And then Saturday afternoon, we're out watching the foreign team, scout team guys, team squad,
watching them
smack each other around and this and that. And we're on the sideline eating popcorn and Cheetos. So,
you know what?
We get out to the Rose Bowl. Well, they would give you so when I got the Rose Bowl 30 years ago, they gave us, me and my little brother got a check for $1,400. And that was, you could take this flight. It's a first class trip from Philadelphia to LA. So it's from your hometown to the Rose Bowl. So they said $1,400. If you can find a cheaper flight, do it. So I found I was in a cargo plane for $400. So I could pocket $1,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I did that. That's how we got out there.
Yeah, that's a different time. Can you imagine the vibe, the difference of the vibe we have now, where it's like, yo, we're going to have fun, and we get down there about 7 days early, so we have a day or two where we really get to explore. Now they do such a good job. I mean, they take us to all these cool different events, and wherever you go, a lot of guys on the team normally haven't been there, so everybody gets the experience.
Did they put us in a barn?
It sounds like it.
It sounds. Oh, we went to Joe took us out there for the first week, beat our asses because we didn't have practice for 3 weeks. He would just the practices where that was game. Tops. So you went in the bowl week and you're going to Universal Studios, you're going to Disney World, you're going to Epcot Center, you're going to all these different places, and you're on your bowl trip, on the bowl trip, but you're not worried about practice and stuff like that because all the hard work was done. The hay's in the barn, you ain't changing nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like get off your legs, and you know how the Rose Bowl was. They had to do 5,000 things.
Yeah, the Lowry's. If you know, you know. Bringing up
the story, dude.
I do know the story. Beef Bowl, Lowry Steakhouse.
My dream was stolen from me.
They told Goon he was too fat.
Those you who know me know the story, but I was put on this earth for 3 things: drink beer, eat meat, and play football. And Joe Paterno took away the eat meat aspect of it. So we're out at the Rose Bowl all week. It's the same people listening, so I apologize for telling the same damn story, but all week. Oh, you guys can't wait to go to the Lowry's Beef Bowl. All the prime rib you could eat. Lowry's Steakhouse in Beverly Hills, California. Steakhouse. Prime rib from Lowry's. It's like, oh my God. This is like Goon's Mecca. I'm like here. Like I've made it. I'm on the pinnacle.
Right.
So I get there and I rip through the first piece, the corn, the potatoes. I stand up to get back in line and I hear, "Hey, Carmen, you're too fat. Sit down. Nobody's getting any seconds out here." And I'm like, what? And I'm just like, sit down. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I sat down, and I'm just sitting there. And the whole point of the beef bowl is they bring in they cook multiple sides of beef, and they just keep cutting the prime rib down. And then the next night we played Oregon, so Oregon would come in, and they would count how much weight the team ate, and that was the beef bowl. So Joe just threw the flag in on that one. Everybody got one piece, and you should have seen the offensive line. We were going from table to table. That the defensive backs were over there, just like ripping prime ribs out of their hands, like it was a depression. I'm over there like.
I do want to ask, what was
too heavy? You can't eat it. Oh my God, he took it from me, man. He took it.
That's a shame.
It sounds like you're still fighting
so
over
Pat,
that. That's all right.
Pat, yeah, he's still hurting me. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the old man can hurt me from the grave. I still wake up at night every once in a while and hear that voice.
Never be able to reconcile that.
Kraft did call me when you guys went to the Rose Bowl. He's like, "Goon, this Lowry's place is unbelievable." I was like, he knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing.
We're gonna get back out there, and we'll have to get you out there and get you as many plays.
Our 25 reunion, the Rose Bowl committee. Some of the guys came in from the Rose because they really enjoyed us when we were out there that much. They came in for our party. And they were like, "Hey, do you guys make the Rose Bowl this year? You come out, we'll bring you out there. You come to the Beef Bowl." And I was like, "Don't you lie to me!" I got like tears in my eyes, and I'm like, "Oh, like Richard Gere, I got nowhere to go." Oh man,
sounds like we didn't make it.
What
was that? 2021 or something?
Well, it was 5 years ago. So what is that?
2019. Went to the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, 11-2.
Yeah, good job.
Good year. We did our best. Coach. Sorry, man.
Failed you.
Yes, you did.
I will say though, because you go to all different hotels, and you go to Maryland, you go to Indiana, all these different places, and there are places that have the best food. Iowa had good food.
Oh,
no,
unbelievable, dude. Okay, you guys may have a different diet.
Who are you thinking, Landon? Are we thinking the same thing?
Well,
what are you thinking?
I always enjoy when we went to Maryland. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I forget you. That's right. You already left when we went to Auburn.
Yeah,
I'll never forget me and Olu got into the room, and you know, sometimes we get there really early. So sometimes they'll, you know, the itinerary on away games, they kind of plan it. So you probably will have some time once the plane lands, you get in the hotel, everybody gets settled. You'll normally have a good 2 hours to, you know, kind of relax. Some guys will take a nap. You just get to lay in those comfy hotel beds. Well, we got to Auburn. We had like 4.5 hours. So me and Lou start looking at the room service up there. And, you know, mind you, we're in Alabama. And so I'm seeing grits, like catfish, all this stuff.
Right.
And so I text Ben Kerr, and he's the guy, you know, he kind of handles everything, all the operations. I'm like, hey, is this going to get charged to us? And he's like, yeah, it will. So, I mean, me and Lou make a decision that we're just going to get a little something to eat before dinner later that night. And so I had a little like catfish, some grits. It was some of the best food I ever had.
I believe it.
So going south, that was my first time really playing in the South. That was by far my best.
You didn't get food poisoning.
I didn't.
No, you're lucky you didn't.
Good hospitality. No, they were good down there, I will say.
Sure.
Southern hospitality is real.
I understand that. I live down there, but you think that you're going to beat Auburn? They're going to poison you.
Yeah, we took over that stadium.
Our away trips were Friday night. We would have the exact same meal every week, and we have a New York strip, a stuffed piece of chicken breast, mashed potatoes, and corn, and then a big old piece of lasagna would come out too.
We have all that.
That's pretty much what we did.
Did you have the Sunday station?
You think the old man if I can't eat 2 pieces of bread, you think the old man was going to let me eat Sundays?
Going to happen. The ice cream station is the best, dude. Though, like there's Butterfingers, M&Ms. You know, you got to get a little sugar.
Oh my
God! This is the science. This is now you get to revel in science, where they say, hey, some sugar is good for these guys.
Your body
back in the day, they said don't give it to any of them, especially the fat guys like Goon.
Right.
That's what they were saying.
Buddy.
Right. That's crazy.
I'm going to blow you away right now.
It's okay.
You want to talk about sugars? And Sarah can attest to this. We had a Coke/Pepsi break in mid-practice every day.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. The old man would be like, hey, get a Coke. And we'd run over there and Spider and Shopee be opening the old
ridiculous.
redeemable, whatever, redeposited little 7-ounce Cokes. And you would go, it was like a sugar high for like 30. It's the worst thing you could possibly put in your body in a hot summer day. And then we're just out there just gunning down. And it was always a contest to see if you get like 3 or 4. I never got more than 3.
Yeah, I mean this is probably the worst thing that you could put in your body.
Absolutely.
At that time.
Yeah.
I do
but
real
sugar's
quick.
good for you though. Sugar's good for you.
Right. So I want to revisit the food on the travel nights.
Ooh, yeah.
The Alfredo was a staple, at least for me. That was the Alfredo was a big.
No, we had the same thing for 5 straight years.
We pretty much have the same thing. We have lasagna, we have the steak, we have the chicken. You know, there's a couple more things.
Apart that was good. You're right. But what set us apart was like the night snack.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
So I would there was a point in time during my career where I would travel strictly for the reason that I was 265, and they wanted me to put on 4 to 5 pounds every single week. So I would come in there. Chuck Losey would weigh me before dinner and then would say, okay, Hawk, you're 263. Before you go back to your hotel room, you're going to be 268 and a half. And I would sit down there and drink Smoothie King. I'd eat Chick-fil-A sandwiches. I was not going to play even a little bit of the game, but I was eating like a king. So it was a great time.
I'll never forget. They bring out the scale. They bring out the scale at dinner.
They were messing with you?
No, they wanted me to get heavier. I was a D tackle and I was 260. So they were like, yo, like we got food. It was wonderful. I got a hotel stay. It was great.
I guess
think he was playing.
They weren't going to play, so I guess that's right.
I will say, so this is my last thing. So 2021, I broke my tibia. So I had traveled 2 years before that. I had been traveling at that point, my point is. And I didn't get to travel because I was injured. So they tell me like literally the day before the first game, I had been cleared to practice. They're like, yo, you're not on the travel team. Like, you're not coming. And the thing that crushed my heart the most was that I wasn't going to get the Alfredo. I was pissed about the Alfredo. So there was a 4-week stretch before they started traveling me again where me and Will Knutson would drive to Olive Garden on Friday nights and order our own Alfredo.
That's great. Because I'll tell you, because that's how I do the steak Alfredo combo, and then I finish it off with a sundae. And honestly, it's amazing that I was okay the next morning to play football. But no, it is. Yeah, the dinners, you look forward to them. But I will say, you talked about having to stay home. Sometimes when you get to stay home as a freshman for an away game, and it's like, yo, really? You think it's horrible?
As a freshman?
No, when you know you're not going to play, and it's like, yo, I got the weekend off for the first time in forever. Do you not agree with this?
No, I completely agree.
I thought we were talking about eating.
No. I'm talking about the fact
for the guys who get left
when
behind,
you go,
the dining hall's not open. They make
Right.
Okay, see now people have NIL. You can go down to Chick-fil-A.
They
You
can
can
afford
go.
to buy
You know,
McDonald's.
you're not rubbing two nickels together. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, big guy.
Right.
It's all right.
I mean, the tuna hoagie from RC Profits at Pollock Commons. It's like. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly right.
The crowd went crazy.
Yeah, the crowd like that.
I think Chicken Cosmos. I know they'll even go more crazier because that was better than Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Well, now we got. I mean, we got campus steaks. We got everything. It's all good. They take care of us. But
points there.
Well, hey.
Well, you know what I mean. You can use points there.
Yeah. You got Mucho. You guys didn't have that. There's a lot of things that have gotten cleared now.
You're welcome. You guys are welcome.
You built it. Thank you. You helped build it.
You guys better thank me sometime.
Thanks. We appreciate it. You guys weren't even allowed to have like a nutrition bar. They had if they were reaching for a thing of nuts, they like smacked their hand. It's like not during those hours.
Right.
No, that's how it was. I mean, the NCAA was really out of hand.
Yeah. I'm honest to God, the NCAA was brutal. Like you could not bring one thing out of that building or the restaurant.
You eat the wrong bag of peanuts, you're not eligible to play college football ever again. You're in trouble. You're going to jail for 10 years.
No doubt. I mean, they used to have the milkshakes there and stuff like that. You could get one of those to go. And they had the Sunday station, so we had a good dining hall, but it was just the monotony of it that just drove you a little bit nutty.
Yeah.
I would never complain about the food at our dining halls, but it was just, we could not go elsewhere.
Yeah,
it was Pollock Commons, and then in our dining hall, and that was it.
Well,
now, even when I came back in coaching, they had some unbelievable cooking in there, and they had some, the fancy cooking, and then. Is Masa still there?
Man.
Thursday night.
Oh my!
When there was lamb.
That. Those were good
the
times.
Recruiting Fridays were great for us too.
Yeah,
fatties loved those things, and you didn't have recruits; it was even better. So you just get to pad it up before you go out boozing all night.
There's nothing better as a current player when you're walking around and you're thinking, I'm hungry. I don't want to just go eat a peanut butter and jelly, and you look out and there's a recruit outing. And they have the pans out there. Penn State made the food, and you just get to go up and just load a plate up, and you can just take it home.
That's as good as it gets.
It doesn't beat it.
We gotta go.
Yeah, we did. This was a lot of fun. We talked about food for 13 minutes.
We talked about food a while.
I can't wait to get home and cook for an hour. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
What are you having?
I'm going to Campbell Cheesesteaks.
Oh,
yeah,
good call.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
I had one yesterday.
I've had it too many days in a row.
I need something not processed. I need a steak.
We need to get out of our show here. Thank you for listening to the Blue White Players Show. Stay tuned next week. We'll have more guests, more content. We'll see you then.
Good show, boys.